Coming up next on The Voice of Alabama Politics, Charles Barkley does some truthing. Also, did Tommy Tuberville scam veterans? And the Alabama State Legislature gives the Bronx cheer to SCOTUS.
I wish that for only one day Dad couldn't tell a lie.
You betcha. And it's not going to go well. All this and much, much more coming up next on The V. Welcome to The Voice of Alabama Politics, where we tackle the tough issues so you have the hard facts. I'm your host, Bill Britt, and as always, I'm joined by Susan Britt, research guru extraordinaire, and Josh Moon, columnist and investigative reporter at APR. Welcome.
Hi, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Josh, tell the folks a little bit about your podcast and where they can listen to it.
Oh, yeah, sure. It's Alabama Politics This Week. You can find it on all of your typical platforms out there. Everywhere you get your podcast from, they should have it. We send it out to everybody on Friday mornings, and it drops. The new episode will drop each Friday. We've been on a little bit of a summer break for the last couple of weeks, but we're about ready to get back at it again and start up with some new stuff and some new guests. And we have guests that you don't typically hear from in this state, which is to say that some of them are Democrats. And so you get a lot of information. Now, there's some Republicans that join us as well, and we have good, lively conversations. And it is myself. David Person is the co-host as well. He's a longtime journalist from the Huntsville area. And, we kind of cover things in a rational way and talk about some of the topics of the day in a way that you're not going to hear on some of the screaming radio shows out there.
It is decidedly more thoughtful than most of what you hear, and a good fun time. I also wanted to mention that we are in the process of building out a new studio with a new set, and that's going to be a couple of months. You're going to have to endure seeing us from home, but then we'll be back in the studio, and Josh will be joining us in the new studio. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that'll be nice. But I tell you, I have really labored in my mind to how to talk about this topic without making everybody sound like evildoers. Mm-hmm. And that is, the United States Supreme Court ruled in favor of what was decided by the district courts, the federal district courts, that Alabama misused the Voting Rights Act, and they did not give two districts, majority districts, so that Democrats, or black people actually, had a right to elect the candidate of their choice. Josh, during the process, the special election, the Republican supermajority has done everything within its power to thwart the will of the court, a very conservative Supreme Court, even to the point of Chris Pringle, the co-chair of the reapportionment committee, claiming that, well, you could interpret what Chief Justice Roberts said many different ways.
And we also called it an opinion.
Opinion. It was.
It was just an opinion.
Well, they all are. That's how it works. I noticed they didn't call that during the Roe decision. It wasn't just an opinion then. But yes, you're right. I'll say it's troubling to me. Even, I know that there's a lot of politics involved in the day-to-day stuff that happens with our legislature all the time, okay? And I know that there's a lot of people who lie, and there's a lot of people who bend the truth and stuff. But to watch Pringle over the course of the last several days be just kind of unabashedly dishonest in what he's pitching to people and the way that he's framing things, because the court was pretty clear that there needed to be a second majority-minority district out there, and that either it needed to have 50% of a black voting age population in that district, or something very close to it. All right, something very close to it. And the districts that they have drawn up here, the new districts that they are going to accept now, one has 42% black voting age population, and the other one has 38. Now that is not very close to 50% voting. That's not giving that, and this is the whole point. The whole point here is to give the black population, the black voters in Alabama, an opportunity to elect a candidate of their choice. Not Democrats, this is not a Democrat-Republican thing. Yes, most black people in Alabama vote for Democrats, probably because of some of the dishonesty that we've witnessed over the course of the last few days from Republicans out there, the way they're framing things and the way they're going about stuff. But that's not the point of the court. The point of the court is to honor the Voting Rights Act, Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, and to give black citizens an opportunity to elect a candidate of their choice.
And I believe they even reduced some of Terry Sewell's percentage. Am I right?
They did.
I mean, what more are they going to, slap the Supreme Court in the face?
Well, as Gwendolyn Gavan said, they dropped the F-bomb on the Supreme Court.
Yeah, they did.
As I said, they gave them the Bronx cheer for sure. The thing is this is basic fairness. This is the type of thing that we teach children from a young age. Mm-hmm. And I just can't believe that the leadership, who I think is very good, has allowed this nonsense to go on and Pringle to lie unabashedly. I mean, to just lie about what the Supreme Court said. This is dishonesty. This is Jim Crow type dishonesty.
Well, it's not just that. They're also wasting time and money by doing this, all right? Because the dishonesty is built around this idea that they don't want to draw the maps, all right? They want somebody else to come in and draw it for them, and they know that's what's going to happen. The court's going to appoint a special master to come in and draw these maps for them, and that means that they're off the hook from having drawn a Republican out of its district, and so nobody could make a campaign ad saying that they created maps favorable to a Democrat or something along the lines. So that's what they're doing. And if I could steal a line from a friend of mine who will go unnamed, what they ought to do is just have Daniel Moore come in and draw the legislature doing this and just title the new painting Punt Legislature Punt, because that's all they're doing. They're just punting this thing out to somebody. In the meantime, the taxpayers are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars for a session that is completely worthless.
All they had to do was just go ahead and say, we'd rather have a special master do it. Because it's obvious that's what they're doing, because they're doing it so blatantly. They know the Supreme Court's going to kick this back. There's no way they won't. But just like you said, Josh, they go, oh, we tried, man. There was nothing we could do. Supreme Court made us do this.
They feared drawing Barry Moore out of his district and Jerry Carl out of his district. And one of the things that nobody outside of a very few people that elected Barry Moore like Barry Moore. They don't like him in D.C. They don't like him in the business community. Someone said to me the other day that we had one Mo Brooks that was terrible for Alabama. Now we have two in Tommy Tuberville and Barry Moore. But there is no sense of shame or accountability within this government when it comes to making their base angry. They are just terrified. And I don't understand it, Susan. I don't understand how they won't stand up.
What I don't understand is who is this placating to? Are Alabama voters, specifically here, Republican voters, do they enjoy this sort of unfairness? Are they okay with this? Have we divided up into team politics to the point to where we can look at a map and say there is 28% of the voting population out there that are black voters, all right? And right now, we're well underrepresented them. We're at 14 or so percent with the one district. And if we increased it to 2, it would be right at 28%, which is going to be in line with where things will be in a couple of years. So are they really that far gone that they don't even care about the math?
The small portion of the base is that far gone. But we're going to have to leave it right there. You're watching the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back.
Your home is your most valuable asset. But what if someone tried to steal it from you? Property fraud is one of the fastest growing areas of fraud in the country today.
As a district attorney, I've seen firsthand the devastating effects of property fraud. That's why I'm proud to support the Montgomery County Probate Court's REACT program.
REACT is designed to protect your property and to give you peace of mind. By signing up, you'll receive an email notification if a document is filed against your property.
This program is a game changer. It has the potential to prevent fraud and protect countless homeowners throughout Montgomery County.
So don't wait. Sign up for REACT today and protect your home.
Protect your home with REACT. Sign up today.
125, 620. As a paramedic, you wouldn't believe the things that we've seen.
I've seen all types of horrible things.
I mean, we're there basically picking up the pieces from your worst day.
Everyone is just driving and not paying attention.
We all have the same goal. All of us want to go home alive and safe and harm nobody else in the process.
Slow down. Be careful. Care about the other people on the road. Don't be the reason that someone else doesn't go home tonight.
Today, Montgomery is a safer city. It's time to shift the narrative and take control of our future. We're reopening community centers, remediating blight, and revitalizing neighborhoods across the city. And we're unleashing new opportunities. Over the past year, companies have invested a record-setting $2 billion in Montgomery and created 2,000 jobs. This is a new Montgomery. And together, we're reimagining the possibilities.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. Just when you thought that Tommy Tuberville could not dip any lower, we realize that he has lied, what we believe, lied to veterans, the people he says he cares the most about. During his campaign for the U.S. Senate, he made a pledge that he would give every dime that he earned in the Senate to veterans organizations. Josh, you and I had this story last week, and then the Washington Post scooped us on it, but we did write about it. But Susan, he made a pledge.
He did. In March 2020, March 9th, 2020 to be exact, he said, and I quote, "I stand with our veterans and I'm going to donate every dime I make when I'm in Washington, D.C. to the veterans of the state of Alabama." Folks, they deserve it. They deserve it a lot more than most of us.
Tommy Tuberville's a wealthy man. He could have given that money, but Josh, there is no indication that he has given even a dime to the veterans.
No, the Washington Post fact checker contacted, got somebody at his office to give him a call back. And they basically said, yeah, listen, the Tuberville's foundation, as we all know, has been under audit because of some problems that were uncovered during the course of the campaign, in which he was given less than 1/3 of the donations to that foundation to the veterans causes that they claim to support. And most of it was going for golf tournaments. So they've been trying to clean that up, according to this staffer. And they've been working on replacing the board and doing a bunch of other things, allegedly. And it's taken, more than 2 years now to do that. And they're still working on it. And as soon as they get that handled, much like those Trump tax returns that we were all going to get to see after the audits, they're going to get right back to donating that money to the veterans. And Coach is going to make good on that promise, which he has thus far not made good on at all.
Coach is worth about $20 million. I don't think, at this point, $437,000 is really going to, mess his portfolio up.
Well, and if he really gave all the money that he earned while he was in Congress, it'd be a whole lot more than, a little less than $500,000. Because he is racked up in the stock market.
Yeah, maybe if he could give those veterans some insider stock tips like he's getting, that would help him out.
It's just a shame that there is a lack of integrity that runs so deep that you would make these claims about veterans, how much you care for them, and then come up with this lame excuse that you can't do anything with it because your foundation is in chaos, or as they called it, a black hole, right?
Yeah.
It's an auditing black hole.
Just give the money. I mean, you don't need the foundation. Just give the money.
Right.
No.
That's it. I mean, it's just give the money. It's real simple, Tommy.
Doing the bookkeeping for, all these businesses that are around in our sphere here, it's real simple. When an employee signs up to get a check, you can have it direct deposited in your account. Or someone else's, Tommy.
Yeah. I mean, this is not a difficult thing. It's because he lied. He lied. That's my opinion. I tell you what, something that's good, and I want to mention this. Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth. He heads up what is one of the really important committees that we have here, and it is the Commission on 21st Century Workforce. It works to identify emerging businesses and opportunities for people to work, and it is a premier commission that he heads, and he has named two of Alabama's brightest and best citizens to that commission. Jeff Peoples, the CEO of Alabama Power, and Gary Smith, who is the head of Power South. These two guys are real examples of hardworking Alabamians who have started out with basically nothing and worked their way up to the pinnacle of success in our state.
They have. They both came from very, blue collar jobs into white collar jobs now. But the interesting thing is that these two guys came up basically together. They've been friends for over 40 years. Yeah. They played softball together.
Yeah, they
soft
were in
pitch,
a league.
Yeah, in a league, and went to all the games together and all that. So they've known each other, and through both their personal and their professional careers for all these years, they're going to be an absolute asset because they both have come up through the ranks to where they are, so they understand this process.
And Josh, getting jobs are, having a decent job is one of the most important things that a man, a woman, a family can have, because it gives them freedom, and it gives them dignity.
Yeah, well, what you hope for out of commissions like these and committees is that you get people like you're talking about that have a blue collar background, and they understand the trials and the hurdles that the average person has to endure and overcome to work their way from that bottom level job all the way up through the ranks and get up to the top and to earn a good living for their family. And because at the end of the day, no matter how much people like to think that we disagree or that we loathe one another on the other side, 99% of the state wants exactly the same thing. They want a good job. They want to put food on the table. They don't want to have to worry about the bills when they lay down in bed at night. They want to make sure the kids are in a good school, and that's basically what everybody wants. And if you can put together a committee that helps achieve that, then more power to you.
And I think it's important, as you both have illuminated, that you have people that have the experience of coming up through the ranks, because it also shows our young people that this is possible. You can go get a job, further your education, and rise to any level you want. Or you can go to a technical college, community college, and get a certificate in some pretty fine paying jobs in this state. But I'm proud that we have this initiative. It started back in 2019. Lieutenant Governor Will Ainsworth is doing a good job with that, and I think that this is one of those things we have to continue to plan for the future workforce.
It's every day looking at a lot of these legislators that I notice, I can tell the difference between the ones that have had to count pennies to buy pinto beans to have something to eat for supper and the ones that haven't. And these boys, like us, have had to count pennies.
Well,
and that's going to make a big difference in what the decisions they make.
To quote a very sage woman, many of them were born with silver foots in their mouths. There you go. All right, we're going to have to leave it right there. You're watching the voice of Alabama politics. We'll be right back.
When I first started off, it was all about being an entrepreneur. Very quickly, it went into all the environmental impact that we're having in our world right now. We needed a technology that could do something with all the plastics that are harder to recycle. We innovated and created a technology, advanced recycling.
Welcome back to the voice of Alabama politics. We were just talking about people that work hard and get ahead in life. And there used to be a time when Republicans were more concerned about creating economic wealth in this country than they were about fighting mythical woke ideology. They are chasing, the magic dragon that doesn't exist in all this hype over woke, because they don't even know what it is.
They don't know what the definition of the word
But
is.
there's no place
not
where
what they
this has
think.
been more obvious than when the Senate decided, Senator Chris Elliott and Representative Ernie Marjorie Taylor Greene Yarborough decided that they would go after archives and history for having a 1-hour luncheon to discuss gay history in Alabama. And they have sought to defund it by taking away $5 million in appropriations to that department. Josh, they tried to get it past this special session. Nothing for them.
It's it's really a shame that we've got to continue to fight these same fights over and over and over again, because some people see political expediency in being able to marginalize certain folks and to attack certain vulnerable people. And that's all this is. It's just an attack on gay people and LGBTQ people, because there's a certain percentage of the base out there that has been lied to repeatedly by national news outlets and by national pundits and things like that, they've been led to believe certain things that are untrue about gay people or whatever, to the point where now they've vilified those people in their minds. And it's really shameful. That they're continuing on this track, that they want to continue to push this, because honestly, you're talking about a 1-hour luncheon. I don't care if it was a 1-hour luncheon every week. I really don't. I mean, it's honestly, it's the history of gay people in Alabama. What do you care? What does that bother you that somebody is teaching an accurate history of what gay people in this state have done for this state?
They don't have abortion to kick around anymore. They have to find a new victim. And they found it in the LGBTQ community, unfortunately. This is terrible.
Well, I tell you, I wish somebody would, I wish you could get a historian to give the legislature a real lesson on gay history in Alabama. Because once upon a time, a senator from Alabama became vice president, 13th vice president, William Rufus King. And Rufus King, by all accounts, was a gay man. He lived many, many years with the future James Buchanan, who became president, who was our bachelor president. And, I remember Andrew Jackson. I read about it. Andrew Jackson used to call him
how
Miss
old are you, man?
Yeah, well, getting there. Miss Nancy and Aunt Fancy. He used to refer to them as that. And it was pretty widely known that they were
you think?
Gay caballeros.
You think that everybody knew it?
Yeah.
And
Because they didn't
weren't
care.
doing it?
They didn't
No.
stick their nose in people's business.
Yeah. They left people alone. And and that's all you got to do in this situation. Leave people alone and mind your business. But I wish you were talking about, you wish that there could be an accurate history given, accurate history of the gay community given to the legislature. I wish there could be some accurate stories written about the number of gay legislators that there have been over the years that have remained.
That's true. That's true.
That's true.
And I think our history of gay culture in this state would expand exponentially if we started telling the truth about some things.
Yeah.
But nobody's going to do that. And you know why? It's because it's none of my business. It's none of my business what you do as consenting adults and what other people do as consenting adults. And all they're looking for are the same rights and the same recognitions that you receive every day. And they don't want anything more than that. And they just want you to leave them the hell alone.
Well, and I mean, look, if they can, and they're trying to do it. They're trying to erase black history now with this divisive concept. I mean, again, you erase history at your own peril. This is what authoritarians do. This is what dictators do. This is what religious fanatics do.
They also start in the libraries too. That we've got that going on.
Got that going on. They want because we got woke libraries.
Well, go back in history and look and see where this popped up again. Popped up before, maybe pre-World War II.
Yeah, but I mean, it's always been this way. You've got to find an enemy. You've got to identify it, whether it's whoever it is, and then you have to marginalize them, destroy them, and erase their history. It's interesting. you know, Charles Barkley is just he's a hoot. You know, what can you say about
he's a
Sir
national
Charles
treasure? National treasure, Charles Barkley.
What can you say about him that he hasn't said about himself?
That's right. That's right.
So anyway, he recently stood up in Harrods at the casino in Lake Tahoe and said he was going to buy everybody a drink, and he was going to buy them a Bud Light. Josh.
Right. That's right. He's going to buy everybody a Bud Light, and you know, if you're gay, I love you. If you're trans, I love you. And if you've got a problem with that, F you. And you know, and that's Charles in a nutshell. Charles has, you know, I've disagreed with Charles Barkley on a lot of different things, but I have also agreed with one thing overwhelmingly about him, and that is that he believes in letting people live their lives, exactly what we said, and staying the hell out of everybody's business. All right.
Yeah.
And that's what he's about, and respecting each other.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, you can't cancel me. I'm worth so much money. There's nothing you can do to me. But he dropped the F-bomb. He gave him the Bronx cheer so many times, I can't even give a complete quote out of this.
Right. No, you really can't. You really can't. But the thing is, he was speaking truth. Yes. He was speaking truth. And, you know, and it has gotten national attention, as it should. I mean, you got a punk like Kid Rock blowing up beer cans, and people think that's a big deal. I would rather be on Charles Barkley's team than that fake punk,
that or, rather than Kid Rock or Jason Aldean writing anthems for sundown towns. You know, this is, honestly, what Charles Barkley is saying is the way everybody should live here, okay?
Yeah.
I love you. All right, I don't care what you're doing at night or with a man or with a woman or however you're living your life. As long as everybody is consenting and it's legal, then by God, I love you, and I'm not going to judge you. And that's because it's not for us to do so. And if we could get back to that, we'd be a hell of a lot better off.
He's spreading love and not hate. Love, not hate, people.
You know, we can't have that. As somebody said, we can't do that down here. Yes, we can. Yeah. And it's going to take our lawmakers deciding that the prosperity of Alabama is more important than pushing a phony agenda and chasing Snap the Magic Dragon or Puff, whichever. Was it Puff? Snapdragon is a flower, right? Okay. Puff the Magic Dragon. Hit that one, brother. All right, we're going to have to leave it right there. You've been watching the voice of Alabama politics. You watch us because we watch them.